Yeah. Well, there we go. Well, guys, hello. It's Jeff live from Texas. It's not Saturday night. It's all right. It's actually, I'm on a bit of a whirlwind tour. Been down in Dallas, down in Houston. Now I'm hanging out in Montgomery, Texas with the Stud Pack. Excited to be here, guys.
That's right.
This is awesome. We did a live show before. A couple months ago, we just joined each other over the old telephone. I don't know what it was, but we're here today doing a tour of the property, having a great time. Today, we're going to be talking to guys about going into the trades. So if you're part of our channel, you know that we handle a bunch of different stuff. We talk about what it's like to be a homeowner, what it's like to be a tradesman. But if you're young or if you're looking for a career change, this is the episode for you. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with these guys. We're going to talk a lot today about the state of the trades, what's going on with why we're so short on workers. Did you know we're 500,000 workers short in the United States alone?
We're feeling that on this job site.
Absolutely. I bet, eh? That's the experience.
Short, yeah.
Yeah. Every time you call somebody, nobody wants to answer the phone. Nobody calls back. Oh, man. Anyway, what we're going to be talking about a lot today, guys, this is going to be more interactive. We're not going to sit here and teach and preach. We're going to go interactive today. So if you've got questions or you're thinking about a career in the trades, this is a great show because we've all got these different experiences. We can help you out. Want to talk about all the different aspects of trades. Aren't just a job. Okay, it's a career. And it's something that you really, if you want to pour yourself into it, you can be creative as you want to be, or you can be as conscientious as you want to be, or you can be as dirty as you want to be, or you can use it as a way to hone your skill, learn how operations are done, and start your own small business, right? Because a tradesman can enter a business contract and become a small businessman with nothing but the tools on his back and the truck to drive. And that is an amazing way to get ahead in life. No formal education, no school debt, no $1 million down for a franchise. Buy some tools, get paid to learn your business, be mentored, and then when you've got that skill development, you can jump into business ownership. 10 years right out of high school, you're 28 years old, and you're making $1 million, 5 a year in gross sales with a couple of guys working for you. It's a great life. Nights and weekends off. All right, so let's just jump into this, see what everybody, who is here joining us today? Way too many. I got Matt down here with me. He was at the trade show, so he's going to help me out bringing up the questions on the screen.
And I'll be right back because I got to post a link for us.
You're going to post the link?
All right.
That is awesome. All right. While they're talking about that, I'm going to try to look over there. I bought a TV so I can see the questions. This might be interesting. Guys, if you're members, shout us out. Let us know. Benjamin Davis is a member of the channel here. We have membership on our channel, guys, if you are interested in doing that. For a few bucks a month, you can join us in the forum, ask me your questions. And I know I'm behind right now because I'm traveling. And we found out at the YouTube conference, it's just not safe for me to go online at a YouTube conference because that's where all the hackers were too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know, you got 5,000 YouTubers sitting there and a hacker just sits outside the hotel pretending to be the hotel Wi-Fi.
Oh, man.
So anyway, I haven't been on the computer for a few days and, you know, don't want my channel getting erased or anything. That's not a good thing. We all got our stuff together?
Yeah,
nice.
We're getting
so now the whole world knows we're here. First of all, before we jump into the trades, guys, let's bring us up to speed on the job, okay? Like, everybody's watching. And, yeah, if you're watching their channel, the Stud Pack, and if you're not, you should be, okay? This is a great learning experience. These guys are building the house together for the first time using state-of-the-art building materials, all right? And so there's a learning curve. There's a relationship curve. There's a building curve. There's been a lot of heat.
A lot of curves.
Wow. A lot of curveballs.
Yeah, except for our studs. Those are straight.
The studs are straight?
Yeah, as you can see behind us.
That's interesting. We won't go there. But hey, the studs on this pack are straight. It's been said. All right. Anyway, what's it like working with your son, Paul? Wow. So we'll give you a minute if you need it.
So I told you earlier, we have 4 kids.
Yes.
They are all right here where we live. So I'm loving every day of it.
Right.
Yep.
And your other family, like your sisters and everybody else, your friends?
I have a sister here, our best friends.
Wow.
We love it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
to be honest with you, is he a taskmaster or is he kind of giving you your space so that you can make your own mistakes and forge your own way in life here?
Me and Dad have this constant battle of we kind of let each other, we know when to pick our battles with each other. So
Okay.
sometimes Dad takes a lot of time figuring something out, and other times it's like, we can't spend time on that. We got to keep moving forward. And Dad gives me the same courtesy. Sometimes, you know, he's like, hey, if you want to make that decision, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to let you make that one. And
That's what I was telling you before.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get it. Well, you know,
Great balance.
sometimes when you let the kid pull the TV on their head, they learn a lot from that experience.
Did you tell him about that?
He actually did do that.
No, every kid does.
Oh,
Except the new TVs that are mounted to the wall. We've stolen that experience from this new generation. All right.
So on the stud pack house, our HVAC rough-in's done.
Okay.
Our plumbing's done. Got a little bit more on the electric, and then I think we are ready for our rough inspection.
And the rough inspection down here is different. You're mentioning
It's
that's
different
not
than
just
anywhere
framing.
else.
It's all mechanical
Right.
and framing.
It's different than anywhere else I ever lived. They'd always do the framing first
Yeah.
because maybe you have to move a stud. But now, if we have to move a stud, well, we got pipes in the way.
Yeah.
So
It does seem to hold up production a little because you can't even move on to insulating
right.
anywhere,
yeah,
even if there's no wiring in the ceiling upstairs.
but our inspector's been here a few times.
Okay.
If he'd have seen anything, we feel like he would have called us out on it. So
Yeah, there you go.
And
All right.
it's also nice because we don't feel like we have deadlines on any of this stuff, so we can take the time to make everything as perfect as possible, so we don't have to worry about it in the future. And
Yeah.
being able to take your time on a project is pretty valuable, I think.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
as a contractor, it's like awesome for me because it's always you're always up against a deadline, right?
Yeah, the client wants it done
Right.
now.
Where are you? We don't have
Yeah.
that here.
No, that is true. But you have your own deadlines.
We do.
True.
You're probably pushing yourself
Self-
harder here than you do on other
self-imposed.
jobs.
That's right.
That's the way I find it when I'm working with my son. We always push way too hard, and we got to go, why are we pushing so hard?
Because you love it.
Well, I mean, there's opportunity, right? I mean, every breath you take, if you're not doing something with it, it's gone. You never get that back.
That's right.
So time is money. Anyway, Matthew, how are we doing here, buddy?
We're good, man. We're at 418 people in the chat.
418 people in the chat. Okay, I want to jump right into some questions related to if they're interested in getting in the trades. Let's try to keep the conversation around that. And we appreciate everybody driving by in a lawn tractor right now. This is awesome.
That's when they do it.
This is live. Yeah, they'll be all going crazy. All right. Here's the first question. Did they ask Matt Rislinger about his Toto toilet disaster?
So we pulled a prank on him,
We did.
and that's actually going to be on his channel.
Oh, is
So,
it? Okay.
Look
So-
forward in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we're going to get that update
Yeah.
down the road. Nice.
We pulled a massive prank. It was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Okay, so then if you're not on his channel, then you're going to have to watch because
Yeah.
they'll be uploading that on the Build Show.
Yeah. The answer to that is yes, but
Yeah,
we
okay.
don't want to ruin it.
Fair enough. I love that. Wyatt wants to know, I've got a great stable job. Is it worth it to be part-time tradesman when I can only allocate 1 to 2 days a week? Well, I'll tell you right now, Wyatt, if you can allocate 1 or 2 days a week to something, you can do something that's very specific and very niche, and you can definitely be successful in that. Like let's say you just want to patch drywall holes for a living, right? You can use a quick set mud. Over 2 days, you can do 3 coats sand and put a prime coat on it, and that is a great little side gig. Once you start your side gig, you get to write off all your expenses, your business, your travel, things that you pay for out of your own pocket after tax right now, like your cell phone and part of the rent for where you live. All these things now become business expenses, all right? And if you can bury a lot of the current things that you're spending in business expenses and make a little revenue there, you'll be surprised exactly what 1 or 2 extra days a week does for you. Now, don't burn yourself out working 7 days a week all the time.
Yep.
But I'll tell you right now, this is the generation, if you aren't working 6 days a week, you're falling behind,
Yeah. We got caffeine these days. It's a miracle drug. You can go forever.
right?
And all those energy drinks y'all have now at the stores.
Yeah.
I'm not on the job side without one, to be honest. Maybe I'm addicted, but maybe that's why I'm so productive.
Well, I grew up desperate, right? Like I had 4 kids and I didn't even have a high school diploma. So if I wasn't working 6 days a week, I was getting kicked out.
Right.
So that's a different generation. Anyway, Matt, let's get another question up here, buddy. Thank you. Where did you go to learn skills? Now, in your life experience, how would you guide one who wants to have skills to build homes and furniture? Wow, 2 amazing questions. I think when we talked last time, Paul, we both went through our life experiences.
Right.
Your life experiences, you're kind of on the job training, aren't you?
I mean, I feel like I have it in my genes, so I feel like I think that's a thing.
Nice.
I believe in this thing.
Yeah,
Dad
me too.
talks
I
about
do
his
too.
dad,
Yeah.
being able to build anything, and now I feel that way about my dad. But when you work on a project with your buddies and you see how even using a drill or swinging a hammer blows their mind, and it just comes so naturally to you.
Yep.
It's a cool feeling.
It's
I
that
think.
mechanically inclined, being conscientious, right?
Yes,
Having a little respect for what you're doing.
that's right.
There's a lot of that.
But I got to see this guy work all my life, so I had just a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah. Well, see, back in the old days, we would have been like, just go to the job site and start working.
Right.
Any job you could find was a good job. Because,
Yeah,
like
sure.
there was a day when, finding a job was the most important, difficult thing to do. It was a full-time job to find a full-time job.
Sure.
Nowadays, you kind of got the dog by the tail because everybody wants to hire. So my best career advice right now is learn how to specialize. Learn how to specialize, and that may take a little bit of training. might take a year or two of some specialized training while you're taking a job and getting paid. And if you have the luxury to wait until you get a ticket like plumbing or electrical or something, great ideas. But there are other trades that you can pick up a lot faster that don't need tickets or have a much shorter training process. So, I don't know.
Yeah, if I could piggyback on that, Jeff, my advice for people is learn everything you can about everything you're interested in.
Yeah.
But be a master at one of them.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
It's great to get a job working for a big firm or something and like spend a whole summer or something and try all the trades.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because one of them will have a passion for it.
Yeah, and even in the trades, if you're an electrician, but you are a framer, well, that's going to help you as an electrician.
Having a little bit of experience, how the job flows, what it's like on a work site around other people. Yeah, those are all great skills. But what I've found is that every trade has a different link with a different personality type, right? So not everybody who's a plumber is of a bunch of different variety of personality types. They all seem to be the same kind of guy. They're meticulous and they don't care about being clean.
Right.
Where electricians, they like clean.
Yeah.
And they're meticulous.
Yeah.
And then the drywall guys aren't meticulous at all. They're just production. They're just madmen. Anyway, okay, let's move on to another question here. Andre wants to know, what does a build like this cost? How far do I measure from a power pole to lay out a build? Well, yeah, what was your code for being from your power? Any idea?
It'll be done fast. The code for the power. Dad, we had our survey done. We're actually in the process of that right now.
Right.
So you can answer that part.
Well, it was all part of the permit application, but we have an overhead service.
Yeah.
And Jordan wants to go underground, not just underground to the pole at the end of his driveway, underground under the road across the street.
Okay, and that's because that's the main service line?
It's because they want to put a second pole there.
Yeah.
In addition to that one. So
Okay.
he doesn't want to have two poles at the end of his driveway right next to each other.
Okay.
And every time, like I mentioned earlier, every time we have a storm here, I lose power.
Yeah.
And so if I can contribute to just having the lines underground and running down a conduit, I'm going to go that route just so I can be a little bit more protected.
Then whatever happens, it's their problem.
Right.
Yeah, got it. As far as code, guys, everywhere you go, the code's different. Everyone has different kind of weathering patterns, and those primarily generate codes when it comes to overhead wiring. So it's kind of difficult to answer that in a situation like this. But yeah.
Yeah, I found that the local utilities are more than helpful
Yes.
to help you out with any questions.
Yeah, no, I've never had a problem with utility. I've even gotten free disconnect and turned back on again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've upgraded to 200 amp. I only had to pay the electrician his version of that work.
Yeah.
That was a great deal. But I'm from Canada, and we love doing things for free and going in debt up there. So, all right. Matt, let's head up another question here, buddy. Jeff, you talked about side jobs. How would you recommend starting to get into side jobs? Would you suggest starting off the books to see how it works, or get the business license and insurance first? Wow. Okay, starting off the books.
Everybody I know worried about the business part later. And sometimes a lot of those guys regretted it.
Yeah, because the devil's in the details.
Well, you mentioned earlier that finding a mentor is great.
Yes.
To me, that's kind of the hardest part, whether it's a mentor in the trade or a mentor on the business side of business.
Right. Let me just put it this way. If you're going to start a side gig, the one thing you need to know is how much money are you making? Like, you got to know, is this worth the effort? And if you're just bringing in cash and you're not doing books, you're running yourself into trouble because you're missing out on an opportunity to write all of those expenses off. And if you're doing a side gig, it's a lot different than the old days when guys would do like 50% on contract and 50% cash. We'll just all be big boys here. That's what a lot of contractors did for a lot of years, okay? Cash is not around as prevalent as it used to be, and the governments are moving more and more and more to clamp down on that. You can't just be a senator all your life and live in lap of luxury in a $10 million home, can you? No, the IRS is going to catch you if you do that.
Well, now we got all the Venmo payments they're watching now, right?
Yeah. Well, the deal is this. You want to know where your bottom line is. You want to know if you're profitable because that'll turn your engine, right? If you just work an extra and there's only a couple of bucks laying around, you don't know if you made any money, you don't have any business plan, you're missing out. Because if you want to make that transition over time, and this happens, you start a side gig, you do really well, you get successful. Next thing you know, it's like, I could do this full time. Well, now you change your world because you're removing yourself from the credit system of being employed, right? So have 3 years of books before you do that. So it's a smoother transition because banks want a business to be around for 3 years and they want to see that profitability factor so that they can have any idea about whether or not you're going to finance your next operation. So you can really hamstring your whole life if you just jump right in and you don't have any credit. So do your books from day one. Run a couple side gigs for a year or two. Get efficient. write all that expense off. No one's going to come crawling up the back door and beating it in and going, hey, you owe me $50. You're going to be fine doing that. Declare your income, stay on the up and up, learn how to be a good accountant. And if you find yourself making enough money, you want to pay someone to do that, then fine. But you need to understand the inner workings of your business, because you can't scale something that you don't understand, or you're just going to run yourself in a whole lot of debt. All right. So be successful in the little things and then scale it once you've got a good handle on how that thing works. Because if you don't, you aren't going to know if you're charging enough money. That's another thing. If you're not making money in every job, you're too cheap. Anyway, we can get into all kinds of business advice. Let's see, everybody else has got a question that I can answer for them. George wants to know, do you have a plan for cable and or Ethernet running before drywall? Good question.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jordan?
Yep.
How much Cat 6 are you running in this bad boy anyway?
You know what? This is actually not going to be too bad. We just got Cat 6 for security and probably 2 computers max, including the microwave that also hooks up to the servers. And no, I'm just playing. But it's not going to be too bad. We do have plans for it. That's going to be in a future video. But we've got a lighting company that's designing all of our low voltage right now, and it's going to be, you've never seen anything like it. I'll say that. So we do have plans for it. It's going to be great. But the main house is really where the cable and all of that stuff is going to be intense, because that house is going to have
that house, you're going to go next level. All the appliances, everything will talk to each other.
Yep.
Your fridge will be walking around making you breakfast.
That's right.
I get it. So here is going to be more of a temporary living space.
It will be.
And so you can chill out a little bit with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool. Okay, guys. If you've got a question, don't be afraid to ask. Obviously, my favorite color is blue. Outside of that, Raina Ortiz. Love you, Raina. Raina's one of our channel members. You see the little squiggly sign next to her name?
Oh, right.
That's how you can tell. She loves doing DIY in her home. Spent her career on pencil pushing side of things. City planner. How odd is it? How old is too old to start training for something new like electrician, by the way? Live in California, in case that matters. It might matter a little bit, but Raina, I think generally speaking, to become a licensed electrician, you need a couple of years of school and on-site. Right? Down here in Texas, however, wow, that's a great big wasp. If you want to become an electrician, they have a Florida residential electrician school, which is a lot faster. So if you're interested in doing something like that, or check with your California people and see if they're adopting that. I wouldn't be surprised if every state and province in North America adopted a quick residential license. All right. The bottom line is, I think in most cases, you can get yourself hooked up with an electrician who will take you on the job to do your on-job training, and then while you're going to school. And so it's kind of like a 6 and 6 from what I'm experienced. Is that kind of how it works where you guys are?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. So it's kind of a universal thing. You get paid 6 months a year, and then you get your training 6 months a year. Not a terrible gig. So if you were a city planner and you got a pension, Raina, then you're never too old to learn new tricks. Because let me tell you, electrical's not that tricky. You just got to be methodical and have a process. And if you were on the paperwork side of things, you've got all that conscientious skill, you'll be just fine. So I say go for it. Oh, Riley Jarvis, the Sparky. Yeah, that's an electrician.
Yeah.
What's your supply feed to the garage and house going to be, as this would be the decision-making time? 200, 400, 8 amp? Oh, he's going 1,600 amp, this guy. What are you running here?
200 for the garage, 200 for the house.
Yep.
Okay, each their own services?
Yep.
Yep.
And does that give the ability to run this as a business and have its own hydro then down the road?
It does.
Yeah, nice.
And it also gives us the ability to plan for things like disasters, where we can have dedicated power towards the critical things.
Yes.
It's easier. This is going to be livable. It's going to have a shower, a full bathroom, a kitchen.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to power this than it is to power the house.
So you could do a solar array
Yes.
and then go to a miniature version if you needed to live on a smaller.
Yeah, everybody around here talks about the freeze, the great Texas freeze,
Yeah.
and nobody was ready for it. But if you look around here, the tops of the trees are dead, and it's still left its mark. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But we're planning for that with this service.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You may never have to kill a zombie, but it'd be nice to know how to do it, eh?
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, speaking of that, we don't get into that. But we are in Texas.
We are in Texas. It'll be the last place the zombies win. All right. Sean says, did you bring them some Tim's? No, Sean, I did not bring. Tim's is a coffee shop up in Canada.
We know.
Yeah. And Sean, I drove to Florida, got the dog into the dog holiday retreat, and then flew to Dallas pretty much the next day. So I haven't even had a Tim's myself in a while.
Are you struggling?
No, because I switched over. My wife bought me a coffee machine for my birthday
There you
last
go.
year. And so now I travel with a Jura coffee machine, and I grind my own beans, and I'm a real coffee snob.
Wow.
It's my only pleasure in life. I'm renovating a double wide trailer. I got to have something, right? And so I travel, and I take it out of the truck, and I bring it in the hotel, and I make my coffee in the morning because
Nice.
travel coffee sucks.
Did you have some this morning?
No, because we flew, and I couldn't bring it on the plane. But thank God the coffee where I have been in Texas so far has been awesome.
Do you have an ember mug that keeps the coffee hot to the temperature you?
No, I have a Yeti, and that's
Okay, it's
fine.
good.
I drink so much of that stuff that I usually get through 4 or 5 cups a morning.
So you're a chugger, not a sipper.
And that's right. It's going in for, it sustains me.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Oh, my goodness. Dave911 is a member, and he sent us some more love. My 2 favorite channels in one place. Just wanted to say hi and thank you for all you've ever taught me.
Thanks, Dave.
Hey,
Well, there you
Dave.
go.
Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
Good to
buddy.
see you, man.
Isn't that fun? I mean, I always tell people I get such a blast out of making a living helping people.
It's the best.
Where else do you get that?
Mhm.
It's almost impossible. Like when I was in contracting, I helped one person at a time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always the most amazing environment.
Right.
Managing expectations is a lot more difficult than managing a project. Anyway, let's move on here. Matthew is hunting for a question, and there's tons of you out there. My goodness, Jeff, what are you doing to stock up on modified thin set while in Texas? I just keep my nearest floor and decor on my radar. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see that in my most recent video?
I did. We can stockpile it here for you.
Have you ever come across that?
During COVID, we had a lot of challenges with materials.
Sure.
But,
This is not COVID anymore.
so our biggest challenge is driving for an hour to get it because we're in such a small town.
Okay, so you don't have like a lot of those commercial like
No.
suppliers around.
Not at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing. When you get into a town that's more than 100,000, you're generally okay. But
Yep. Nearest Home
Yeah.
Depot's 30 minutes.
Yep. For now. For now.
We kind of like
is it a
that
good
way.
size one at least?
It's standard.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, no, the whole thin set thing was a little bit confusing for me. I didn't know how you could sell products that required it and not have it on your shelf.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not out of stock. It's just out of people's minds.
Yep.
And so there's thousands of failed showers all over the city because of it. That's fine.
Yeah.
They'll all go back to Home Depot and buy it all the second time.
Maybe that's the master plan.
Shame, shame, shame. Planned obsolescence on you folks. There you go. All right. Let's talk to Gary here. Did you or are you going to install hurricane clips to secure the rafters for high winds?
We have not yet, but we have them here. The inspector, and just so you know, we are just out of the coastal zone.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean we don't want to cheapen everything just because we're 10 miles away from the line, right?
Right.
So the inspector would like to see a hurricane strap, I think every third or fourth
I was just going to say like something moderate.
Yeah.
Right, right.
It's
And we
not
have
too
them,
intense.
but we're going to put them in.
The way we framed it with the sheathing bridging the walls to the trusses, there's 2 feet of trusses, so it bridges it. I think it's really strong now. We used ring shank for our sheathing. It's not going anywhere.
Seriously? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. That's next level.
Yeah, so we went above and beyond on that, but it doesn't mean that we can not overbuild more.
Right.
It's funny because you can never figure out the storm. We had a storm in Ottawa. Was it this summer or last summer? Last summer. And it was a weird thing because like you get a thunderstorm rolling through, and this is Canada I'm talking about. Well, there's enough power in that storm. Something happened, high and low hit, just right on the edge. And we had the air just change like a bomb went off, and the air just pounded down on the town, flattened tens of thousands of trees.
Wow.
Like just flattened them. Took out all the hydro lines. It was unbelievable, the storm.
Wow.
And I'm like, that is more power than we build for. And we
Sure.
build for problems where we're from.
Because of the snow, right?
Because we get snow and we get high winds and we do get it from the cold and from the heat and we get humidity and the sun in the summer. So we get crazy building technology, but
Yeah.
we were not ready for that.
Yeah.
We had all kinds of problems. My
Well,
God.
we love the 2x6 construction on the first floor.
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to do that we're both decided we're going to do on the main
You
house
can do it if you want.
is 2x6s upstairs and down.
Right.
It's a huge difference in the strength, running utilities, everything else.
It just makes life simpler
Yeah.
for all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Nice. All right. Anyway, let's get on with another question here. Well, here we go. Failed part job from previous owner. Can I let it go until next spring? I live in Minnesota. Yeah, it's like having a bad lipstick application, right? Parging really doesn't do anything for you, but it's got to make your house look pretty. So don't worry about it. All right. Hey, no big deal. Jeff wants to know why Cat 6 instead of Cat 7 or Cat 8. You should be future-proof.
I don't think in my lifetime we'll ever see a need for Cat 7 or 8, to be honest.
Yeah, the future is going to be all wireless.
Yeah, not only that, but Cat 6 is, I think the capability is like 100 gigabit, and you can't even get that in residential. And I don't think you'll be able to get 100 gigabit in residential in our lifetime. So that's my opinion. I might be wrong, but Cat 6 is fine. I upload 15 gig files on YouTube in 2 minutes off of Cat 6, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like the worst case thing that happens to you is in 5 years you're doing a 4-minute upload. So like how bad can that be? Right.
Right.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the second I hit 4 minutes, we'll do Cat 7. I promise.
Oh, they want to know all about your house now. Why didn't you guys go with Marvin and Windows instead of Palo?
Because first time picking out windows.
We tried many manufacturers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time picking out windows.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, it was Jordan's decision, and went with fiberglass Pella.
The price was the same across all the different companies that we were looking at. And sometimes when you're in the room and you're faced with a decision, just for the sake of moving forward, you just got to pick one and go. And that's kind of what that was. We have no affiliation with Pella. We just thought they were great, and they have a great reputation. So we said send it on that one. Yeah.
All right, cool. Mark wants to know, greetings from Ireland. The majority of builds here are block or brick built and not wooden. Okay, got it. Is there a typical life for a wooden build? Don't know yet. First wooden builds in this country were 1800s.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you go down the road 5 minutes, the top 5 oldest houses in all of Texas are right here.
Really, eh?
And they're wood, and they're log cabins, and there's an old wood shop with tools from 200 years ago. So
here's what I learned about wood.
standing.
If it stays dry, it stays forever.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Right? 1 second. Matt, can we find some questions about our topic of the day, about the trades? Is there anybody in there talking trades or want to know about running their business? Oh, there's one. Any tips to have money between jobs and remaining profitable? Wow. Remaining profitable. You know what? If you're having trouble with remaining profitable and having cash flow, I'm going to suggest that you're being too cheap. And I see this all the time when I'm talking to people and I take phone calls. Guys in the trades are reluctant to raise their prices because generally they're members of the community. They feel horrible by having to raise their prices, but the cost of doing business is going up. And it's a supply and demand market. And there are going to be times in your life when no one's going to want you either. And so you're going to have slow periods. Ask anybody in the trades in 2008 and 9 and 10. So when times are in your favor to be profitable, then be profitable. You got to look at your career as a career. There's going to be ups and downs, okay? So if you're finding a hard time making a living right now, raise your prices. There aren't enough of us to go around. Just go work for people who aren't going to be so affected by you raising the prices. All right?
Yeah.
Take on some of those jobs. And if you still want to be able to help out the single moms and go and do that, that's great. But go find somebody who's older, retired, got asset in their home, and they can afford to pay top dollar, okay? Make sure, guys, when you're giving quotes, that you're not getting 90% yes on your quotes. And if you are, then start right now by raising your prices 25% every 3 to 6 months until you get to that point where you're getting 30% yes. And that is what the market will bear, and that is where you're going to find profitability. Wow. Speaking of being profitable, I should mention one of the biggest pieces of being profitable is knowing your bottom line, right? Having good books. And so I'm going to just suggest, guys, if you're looking at getting into the trades, doing a side gig, get yourself some software that'll help you. Paul, when we were in business, how many hats did we wear? No computers. Did your dashboard look like mine?
8 or 9, yeah.
Paperwork stuffed everywhere, handwritten 3 copies of their quotes, and what was that person? I got to call them back. And listen, nowadays you can be completely sufficient online. All right, so consider checking out our jobber link in the video description. These guys are amazing. They're going to help you with your quotes and your pricing and your follow-up and staying organized in your scheduling, and they're going to be able to help you with your profitability, so you know where your money goes and why. It's an all-in-one business assistant, like having a personal business assistant sitting next to you in the truck. And so they keep all the papers off the dashboard. And going to recommend you check that out, because if you're into the small business or you're starting one up, that will get you profitable. If you don't know where your money is, you don't know if you're making any. Bottom line. All right? Okay, Matt, jump into some more questions here, buddy. Starting a home renovation business. Okay, which software is best to manage the business? Well, there you go. Take a look at Jobber. They do a free consultation thing, so you can organize, they'll set it up, and they'll have somebody walk you through. And then you can find out if that software is big enough or the right software fit for you and your business and the way you manage yourself. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. When I took it, I was like, this is perfect because this solves all of my problems. I wish I had this when I was in business. But for some people, they have different personality traits and they might want to do other tweaks, okay? But give it a try. There's I think it's like a 20-day free trial period. I think we're offering in the video description. So check it out. Really, really, really stay organized. 2 business models work on this day. 3-man crew, and then we had to go to 20.
Right.
Jobber lets you go maybe be a little bit bigger without having to go all the way to 20. And that's just because if you do too many sales, well, you need a salesman. And if you got a salesman, you need a sales manager. And then you need advertising. Well, then you need an office manager. Well, then you need an accountant. And then you need a maintenance guy. Well, then you got to have somebody in charge of all that warranty work because now you're going to have at least 9 guys on the job to be able to supply enough business and produce enough. You got to make the jump. So Jobber makes it affordable that you can be more efficient with what you do best, and that's hands-on, so that you can run your operation like a 5 or 6 man crew while you're a 3-man crew.
That's cool.
All right. And so that's the best advice. And then when you got enough money in the bank that you can afford to pay everybody the first year out of your own account, consider making that major jump. But that's a life-changing jump. You can't go 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. All right. Anyway, that's just my advice. I've seen lots of guys try to go big, and they do it on borrowed money, and it kills them every time. Oscar wants to know, have you finished your windows yet? And I vote for opening your side door. Oh, the windows done, guys.
They're done.
Yeah, good.
They're done.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we had a little surprise that they'll see not in the next video, but the one following that. And that's all I can say.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, whenever we do these live streams, people always want
They want the behind the scenes.
they want the behind the scenes. They want the video before it comes out. And
I'm going to hesitate to give you all the goods in because I got the tour. I'm up to speed. But yeah, you got to just keep watching.
yeah.
I mean, that's the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
what,
good, though.
What about the side door? Is that the one upstairs they're talking about
The bridge?
for the bridge?
I think he's talking about
The
bringing the
delivery?
drywall through
Yeah,
the
we'll
side.
open it up. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sheathing.
Well, not you're officially dried in, though, eh?
Officially.
We are.
Upstairs? That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
It is.
It
really
is. It's a
nice.
great feeling.
So you just got like a little bit of more mechanical to get tied up, and then you guys can get your inspection.
Yep.
That's right.
And then insulate, drywall.
Insulate and drywall. You gonna drywall before your roof?
No. We were talking about that this morning.
Yeah.
Even though we're dry
Love
in,
the zip tape system, but
yeah.
you know, what if? Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it'd be nice to have maybe some metal up there or something in case the tree branch goes down.
Right.
All right, that's cool. Let's get another question there, Matty. Christian wants to know, are trades recession proof? Wow, that's an interesting thing. How many recessions have you been through in your life?
So I told Jordan long ago, and all my sons, if you learn a trade, you will always be able to have an income. Now, is it recession proof? Well, that to me depends on what kind of recession. But
Yeah.
if you can be an electrician, a plumber, there's always going to be a need for those trades, even in the deepest of depressions or recessions.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much. There's no such thing as a guarantee in life. And if you want one, you're going to be an employee for all your life. And that's just the way it is. And if that's where you find comfort, that you want to have someone else responsible to make your payments, then great. But if you want recession proof, then the most recession proof business out there is being your own boss. That means you can get into the trades, run your own show, be incredibly profitable, and move your own personal finance situation to the point where when recessions come, if there is no work, well then baby, take yourself a year holiday because you've already built that into your business model. All right. And you're never going to be living check to check. Being your own business, being your own boss is by far the most recession proof business model out there. And you know, and if you want to work the entire recession, you can. There's always something to do. It's just not going to pay you top dollar. Right. Let's move on, buddy. Boom. Michael says, what's the best way to soundproof a second story? My barn dominium has first floor with TGI and 3/4 plywood so far. That's a great start.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the States, you could always look at mass loaded vinyl, or you can do a double layer of Roxol in your floor joists in your TGI. That's a great way to go. Soundproofing is different. See, everybody has one concept with soundproofing. Though. How do I soundproof? Well, are you looking for sound management, like sound transfer control in that unit, or are you looking for the greatest sound in the room because you're going to make it a studio? Mm-hmm. Those are two completely different things. If you don't want sound transfer, mass loaded vinyl works great. Roxol insulation works great. A couple layers of 5/8 drywall on that ceiling works great. Putting in 3/4 inch hardwood with an area rug works great.
Sure.
anything you can do to build up your
Yeah,
mass.
maybe a spray and bat, maybe like a 4-inch spray foam layer, and then bat underneath that.
Yep.
You could.
Or hat channel
Yeah,
perpendicular to the joist.
you can add the hat channel. You can go to the green glue. There's so many layers, right? It all depends. I did a basement video, and at the very end, we did a soundproofing room, and it was like, here's what moderate soundproofing looks like, right? And then we did a test. I got in the room above it, and we had the music blaring downstairs. I'm like, you could barely hear a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so it's not soundproof because you can still hear a thing,
Right.
but it's barely, and it's not going to overpower a conversation.
Yeah.
And so it was like, you get what you get, right? When you go to soundproof, it's kind of like being thermal proof in your building. You get to that 90 percentile cost effectively.
Mm-hmm.
To get to 92%, you got to double your money.
Sure.
To get to 100%, well, you might as well just ask Elon to pay for it, right? Because there's no perfect answer. It's just about finding that curve where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
So check out that video and zip to the end about the test and see, is that a test? Is that a comfortable space? And then you can go watch the way we got there because it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's move on. Oh, when will we see the plumbing walkthrough video?
Plumbing's getting finished tomorrow, so soon.
Nice.
Yeah. It really just comes down to, when am I going to get around to editing it?
Right? Is that how it is?
Yeah. And that the plumbing will be soon. We're just waiting for, honestly, if we're being completely honest, it took me like a month to pick a shower system just because I didn't want to do it. You know, I had a lot of other things that I was worried about. So I just sat down one night. I got one. We got the valve here, sitting around here somewhere. It's getting installed, and it'll be soon.
So it comes down to selection, design and selection.
To be honest, if that is the one thing that has held us up the most is selection.
Making a decision.
Figuring out what type of product we want to use.
Yeah,
all the way from raw materials, all the way to finished materials.
Yeah.
You have to select, and then you start thinking like, I don't want to do this. So that's when you start to hire people like designers and stuff like that. And you're like, why do I need to hire a designer? I never understood.
I can't make a decision.
Yeah, I never understood their job. And now I'm thinking for the house.
You're just like, please just tell me.
Yep.
Just tell me what I need to put
That's
in.
exactly right.
Please, yeah. Speak.
Yeah, this job has really opened our eyes to the value in a lot of jobs that I didn't even think were legit in
So
the first place.
instead of going like custom floor and everything, you're going like a shower system, like pre-built?
No, I just meant like the valves and the diverters and the body sprays and just that type of
Just
shower.
getting all that figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was going to go fancy, but we told him this is going to be temporary. Do the fancy in the big house and do something simpler here.
Yep.
That's good advice.
But
I like simple. I'm a very practical guy, though.
But he got a pretty fancy toilet.
Yeah, he did.
I'm excited. I heard a bidet changes your life, so I'm excited.
A bidet changes your life.
Live update on that video coming soon.
Well,
I'm
unfortunately, you can't walk down the street and get baguette and cheese. So, it's not going to be Europe for you yet. All right. Next question here, Maddie. Oh, my goodness. Chris is talking toilets. Is toilet flange at height of concrete in basement, which is going to be below height of finished vinyl flooring, a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your toilet flange should be bare minimum flush with your finished flooring. Okay. And up to a 1/4 inch, but no higher.
Yep.
Bottom line, there's 3 sizes of wax too.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can get the jumbo wax if you're running into trouble. But if it's not the same height of your flooring, the jumbo wax isn't enough, and you don't want to double stack wax to solve the problem. So get yourself a toilet flange extension kit. It's generally a Teflon with gasket on it, and it screws all together, and
They're
blah,
great.
blah, blah. They work great.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure, you're running into problems, you can always join our membership program and send me a picture of whatever mess you're dealing with. Because if you're in an older house and you got a brass ring on your concrete floor, then you're going to run into trouble trying to add a Teflon ring, and I can help you manage that. All right. Cheers, buddy. Oh, man. George, hey, guys, what do you recommend starting a home improvement company? Do you register your company first before you get your state license?
So every state is different. Interesting fact, in
really
Texas, there is no state requirement for a general contractor's license.
Yeah. Yeah. And I learned because I was studying down in Florida, it's really quite a thing. You got to take courses. You got to pass multiple tests.
Yep.
And biggest thing down there is they want to make sure that your business is going to be profitable and that you know how to run a business, because their consumer protectionism is built in down there. Because when they do need a lot of contractors, they get a lot of contractors.
Yeah.
And so
Like after a hurricane, they're flooded with contractors.
so then they
all of a
get
sudden.
all this stuff from out of state, and everything's a mess upside down. But where I'm from, it's a little different. $60, you're in business. That's all you need.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is a little Wild West.
Yep.
Even more so than Texas, which is kind of funny because
Yep. And
you're in the Wild West.
Yep. I had general contractor's license in California, brutal to get.
Yep.
And in Louisiana, brutal to get. But
Yeah.
so I was really surprised that Texas didn't have one.
Yeah.
For this project, we just had to register with the city that we were owner builder.
Mhm.
Good to go.
Yep.
Yeah. So really, it all comes down to that. Like, if you're not sure, just contact your local building office, and they're going to have a division or a person sitting behind a desk somewhere knows the rules to follow. They'll be able to send you an email and say, here's your path to success, and then just follow it. Because whenever you're dealing with your government officials, compliance is key, right? As soon as you start doing things contrary to the way that they've set it up, you don't fit the box, you can't move forward. Because they're not going to be interested in trying to help you reinvent the wheel, you know? Yeah. So compliance. I know it's not sexy, but it'll keep you out of a lot of frustration.
That's right.
Okay, what is your best suggestion on how we get the younger generation interested in blue collar work? Well, there's two options. One, we can tell them, hey, if you are feeling entrepreneurial, which is half of the Gen Z, learn a practical skill, give yourself some value add to society, develop that skill, develop yourself as a person, go from getting 50 to 70, 80% in school and doing things 100% right all the time, because that takes effort and practice. You got to train yourself to do that. Mentor under your guy that's running your business. And then when you're ready, you can move into being your own businessman. And that's a career right there. Or you can go to school, rack on a whole bunch of debt, get a white collar job, and AI will take that job for you in the next couple of years. That's right. If you use your brain for a living, you're unemployed in the next 5 years. So maybe you should all join the trades now. Get ahead of the curve and be the guy that's the foreman in the company, not the new guy.
I don't think a lot of young people know how much you can make in the trades.
Yeah.
They think it's a minimum wage.
Oh my goodness.
You're going to
no.
drive an old
Money's
truck, but it's not the case.
But if you want to know how much money you can make in the trades, let's break this down. The average income in America, you guys are around the 55, 60,000 a year range?
I couldn't even tell
No,
you.
it's up. It's like 80
A little
something.
higher.
It's moved up?
Yeah. It's
Nice.
Like 80 something now.
It's been a good year.
Well,
Yeah.
adjusted for everything, it's still 55, but now it just looks like 85. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the average job. All right. Now, in the trades, you can go from average trade to being a master of your trade to being a trade business owner. And so those three jumps look something like being in the 60,000 a year range to being 100,000 a year range to being a 250 to 300,000 a year range with a small business. Okay. So yeah, there's lots of people out there who want the big money and they want it quick and easy. All right. And you're all delusional. Okay. It doesn't happen. All right. Only one guy in every 5 years wins the bloody Powerball even. If you want to have a life and you want to have a great, successful life and you want to be able to sleep on nights and weekends and you want to have a family, the trades is probably the best option out there. A, we're $500,000 short. So you're going to move to the top of the ladder right away.
yes.
No problem there. And then B, you're going to be able to take all the skills that you have and turn it into a business model. And that is ultimately where all of your personal success and financial freedom is going to come from. And if you learn the trades, you're going to be around people who also are in the trades. Great friends to have when it comes time to build your next house or renovate a property.
That's right.
Because every time you buy a house and renovate it, the increase in the value, that's your money to keep tax-free down the road. So consider that. Every once in a while, you get a boost. You can buy a house and flip it every 5 years. A side gig, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that with your friends and family. And then you can make yourself an extra $200,000, $300,000 every 5 years in tax-free income. And that is almost the same as making another $500,000. So, yeah, if it takes you 5 years to learn a trade and takes you 5 years to get into business and it takes you 5 years to flip your first house, by the time you're 35, guess what? You're a millionaire. Not bad. Not a bad gig. Or you can be 35, get out of school, and still be in debt. Love that. Why did you guys rough wire the garage apartment before the dry-in? I thought you had to wait for the building to weatherproof before running wire. Can I wire right after framing?
Yeah. Not right after.
So we were dried in because we used zip, except
Correct.
for the windows and the door.
Right.
And we collabed with another electrician on YouTube who came down from Indiana, and so we had to do it when he was available, and so that's why we did it when we did.
It was dry. I mean, it's rained multiple times and no water touched any of the wires. So
Mhm.
it was one of those things where we made the call, like send it and it's going to be fine. And it was.
Yep.
No wire on any of our Romex.
Yeah. Bottom line is, as long as you don't cut the wires and connect them to your finished plugs and receptacles.
Yeah,
You're not exposed
but
to
as
anything.
far as your last question, can I wire right after framing? No,
Not if you don't have a roof.
you got to have a roof.
Yeah.
But you can wire right after framing if it's like a basement or something like that,
Yeah.
right? As long as it's on the inside. Yeah, you just can't insulate until your wiring's inspected.
Right.
Oh, yeah. When is that guy coming back anyway? Because he's still got to do all the rough on the boxes first in order to pass the inspection, or is that okay to
So-
just have it to the box?
So I know a guy that's going to finish that for us.
Oh, do you? That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Good for you. I think that's awesome. It's good to know people. All right, we'll leave that alone. All right. If you're looking into building an addition, how would you narrow down and select an engineer?
Why do you need an engineer for it? Well,
Eh,
depends on what type of addition.
you need somebody with a stamp.
Yeah.
Different places,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. If you live in a city large enough with a permit office, I would walk down there or call them and say, hey, who do you guys know? Because they see the same names coming across.
Are they allowed to do referrals?
I've always had good luck with that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
nice.
we've got referrals.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
Oh,
And
man.
then
If
once
the
you
city
find
give
that-
you a referral, that's awesome.
And you can even go down to the permit office, and a lot of times they have business cards on
Yep.
the thing, and you just
Mhm.
walk in there and pick them up.
Yeah, it's kind of like some homeowners, they drive to Home Depot and they just take down the numbers on all the trucks. And then they call
Yeah.
those companies up because they obviously work in their area. And you can probably do the same thing at the city office. Just go down there and say, hey, anybody here, an engineer, I need one.
Well, we
Well,
moved
you're
to
obviously working and sober, so that's a good start.
a town and I could not find a plumber. Could not get a plumber.
Right,
Bids were, I knew by the bid they didn't want the job.
right.
So I was close to like giving my wife a six pack and telling her to go to the plumbing supply house parking lot and just finding a guy for me because it was that hard to find a plumber.
Yeah.
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 So once you find those guys, treat them right, and they'll
Did I
come
hear
back.
you right? I
Yeah.
was going to get my wife to go with a six pack to go to the plumbing supply. Oh, okay.
Hey, just go find me a plumber.
I get it. Find me a plumber, honey.
Yeah.
At least they'll
I
talk to
need
you.
some work.
Yeah.
My husband and I are flipping a
At least they'll
house.
talk
I need
to
some
you.
work.
Just sit up there on the bed of the truck, kicking away, having a beer. So, fellas, I need a plumber. Anyone interested? Wow.
No. The thing was,
No.
my husband and I. The first word, my husband and I are building a house.
Oh,
we need
I
a plumber.
see. I thought you had a whole marketing campaign around that idea. Man, oh man.
Next question.
All right, let's move on.
Oh, mom's pop. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you doing conditioned attic, closed cell phone?
No attic.
That's right.
Closed cell phone. Yes,
Yes.
we have
You have established that.
power. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
That's coming up in a new video.
it is.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But it turns out the world of spray foam has taken yet another evolution.
Yes.
So that is nice.
Yeah.
So now your house don't have a risk of smelling like dead fish. So that's
Yep.
pretty cool.
And you might see that evolution on
Yeah.
our channel.
That'd be
Yeah.
exciting.
It'd be awesome.
I hope you guys get
I
that.
hope it comes through.
That would be fun. Cool, Joe.
Yeah. The main house, we're going to do the same thing though. We'll have an attic, but it will be conditioned.
You're going to condition the space for it?
I love it.
Yeah, it just seems like it's an easy place to save on energy down the road.
yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
Typically, every house that we ever had in Louisiana, the air conditioner's in the attic, and I love the analogy that it's like trying to make ice cream in the oven
yeah.
because it's 140 in the attic.
It seems a little dense.
Why are we putting the air conditioner there? Yeah,
Where I'm from, everything's in the basement.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
always like,
Yeah. He's never been in a
10 degrees.
basement.
Yeah, I always tell people I've never been in a basement in my whole life.
what is 10 degrees in your like 50, 55, something like that?
What
Or
is it?
Canadian 10 degrees?
Oh, Celsius?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's like
something
50
around there.
degrees. Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah,
50.
so our basements are always 50 if they're not conditioned.
Oh.
That's cold.
So, but it's not a bad place to air condition from,
True.
or even heat from.
Yeah. It's better than 140.
Well, that's a different beast, right? All right, cool. Let's move on. How are we doing here? Rookie, 1866. Oh, okay. I'm familiar with Rookie 1865. This is a new guy. Home renovation and stud pack collab. I didn't expect this, and I love it. Oh, come on.
Cool. Thanks, Rookie.
How did you not see this coming? Well, just some good old boys.
Yeah, we met at
All right.
IBS, right?
We did the Irritable Bowel Syndrome Conference.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a trade show for contractors. We would bump
Yeah.
into each other, and we did it on purpose because I've been locked away in Canada for far too long, so it's nice to get out and meet some people who are on YouTube. Oh my goodness, Joshua, what was your first hire, and at what point did you pull the trigger on it? Ooh, good question. You ever been in an employer position?
Employer?
Yeah,
No, I've always been a one-man show.
right. That's
Yeah.
so much comfort. I
Yeah.
love that. I loved when I got back to being a one guy. My first hire would have been my kids. Yeah, I actually love working with my boys. I made them work for me. As my house, if you were old enough to be on the job site legally, that was your summer job. illegally you would work weekends because the inspectors didn't. They would only let us have our kids on the job after they were like, what, 13 or 16 or something?
Wow.
I can't remember. I had him mixing concrete for me when he was 9. Yeah. Hey, you're going to eat, you're going to work. All right. That's the way I raised my kids. It turned out all right. They're both still eating, and I don't have to pay for that food anymore, so that's good. Mr. Ancient Prehistoric, thank you for the love, brother. Appreciate that super chat there, guys.
That's what I call Dad.
Brother, super chat? You call him
Ancient
super chat?
prehistoric.
Ancient Prehistoric. I'm like, I thought maybe super chat. That'd be odd. All right. Okay. We're looking for a question here, Matt. What do you say? He's much faster this than I am. Oh, and Ian Steele, another super chat. He has a question. Let's read that. And haven't seen any external wall plugs or hose bibs for pressure washing. Plug in Halloween lights. Is it too late to add them? Never too late when you're still kind of open on the inside.
That's right.
But do you have a hose bib yet?
We do. They're right behind us.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. And are you going with those new modern wall reset ones? Or is it just
What
like...
do you think the answer to that is?
I guess
the way you're building this place, I'm guessing it's not going to be a traditional
I guess there's
frost-free
places
stuff.
where they have these frost-free. We don't know what that is. Down
You don't
here in
have
Texas.
that. Why would you want to
What
worry
the heck
about
is that?
freezing in
What
Texas?
the heck is that?
Yeah,
hose,
okay.
Hose bib on the front of the house, hose bib on the back of the building.
Nice.
In the garage, hot and cold for a wall-mounted pressure washer.
Yep.
And plugs everywhere.
Right.
Plugs everywhere.
That's why it's taken us so long to get the framing covered up, is because we're trying to think of everything we can so that we don't have to worry about it or retrofit anything when we drywall it. When it gets drywalled, I never want to have to open these. Dead?
That's it.
All right. Well,
What do we got? Are these recharge or?
you can charge it, but you can't charge it and use it at the same time. So
We're back on. We're back connected now. So if we just want to wrap it up, say thanks. We only had a couple minutes left.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're back live.
we're back live.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just don't have any audio? Huh. Hey, Matt, is the mic?
Our audio is back on, by the way.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, we only have a couple minutes left, so if we just want to quickly.
So we have audio, we just don't know where it's coming from. It might be the camera mic. Okay. Well, let's not worry about it. That was an interesting fix. Guys, what happened is we had 2 cent high.